All right. What's up, party people? Johnny Andrews here, and we are live. I'm going to be talking, excuse me, talking today about how to use content marketing effectively. So I'm going to be going over quite a bit of stuff. So if you're watching this on the replay, even if you're on the replay, just throw me a quick little, hey, tell me what's up, what business you're in, what's going on, those kinds of things. Uh-oh, we got a little, give me a second. Give me just a second. Let's quit all the extra stuff. Let's leave the page. Did it work? Did it work? Hopefully it worked. Let's find out. Hopefully it didn't crash the entire computer. But yes, there we go. Hey, what's up? Brenda's a novelist. I love it. Excellent. Sorry about that. Had a really, looks like all of a sudden I had a window open. I'm one of those people, you might be able to relate, that has, 3,000 tabs open in multiple browsers. What's going on, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, we're actually live. I know. None of the typical shenanigans you will often see with technology. And I'm going to attempt to share my screen. And so if you wouldn't mind, just let me know. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Is everything copacetic? Are we good here? And I'm going to leave you a comment here. Post your questions. Hit chat. Let's see how that plays out. I always like it when Periscope tries to, what's up? There we go. We'll do that one there. Looks a little bit more like me. What's up? What's up? Hello, everybody. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. All right. Got a couple few folks to join up on the live. And if you're on the what do you call it? Replay. Thank you. Excellent. Hello, Ian, Brenda. This is great. Super fun coming to you from my bunker. Yeah. So first off, how's everybody doing with our sheltering in place? It's a lovely time, is it not? So this will be great. And by the way, every question you throw in here has the potential to become another, another topic for one of these here little things. So today, what we're going to be talking about is how to effectively use content. I'm going to be taking you through why, the how, the who, the what, the where, all those fun things. And let me see if I can. Excellent. Novelists. So we have some novelists on here. So let me see if I can do the share my screen. And it says it works best with two monitors, which is fun. So next time I will work on doing that. Excellent. Let me see. Application window. Share. All right. This looks like it's not quite as big as I would like it to be. That's hilarious. I think I'm way too prevalent in this. If you don't mind, just give me a second while I work out the various kinks. This will just take a minute. I'm going to jump on to the good old Facebooks here, and I'm going to watch me watching myself. Excellent. See, Ian, my job at the university, I work as an essential services, so I have to work tonight in 3 hours. Okay, yes, definitely I need to. I think what I'm going to do is hide myself and see if we can do it like this. Is that better? I think everybody can see this. And then I'm going to get rid of that. Nope, there we go. Perfect. I think we're good here because I don't think I need to be that big. I think the information is more important than my pretty little mug. Yeah, I will go back in time. You got that right. There we go. All right, cool. And I'm going to do it like this with a bunch of slides. I hope nobody minds and that kind of thing. So here's what we're going to do. If you can throw in your questions, I am mostly sure that all of the platforms on which we are currently streaming will allow this. I'll be able to see them in the thing. So I'm going to jump back and forth between the stuff and you folks. Cool. All right, here we go. It'll be fun. So this is what we're going to cover. And I condensed a little bit from the email if you're coming in from that. So this is effective content marketing to grow your business. My hope with all of these here shenanigans is that you're going to be able to come out of this knowing, first of all, why this is so important, because where we are right now with everything that's going on and the crazy sheltering in place and the this, that, and the other thing and that sort of stuff, this is the perfect opportunity to get in front of people. And yeah, it's absolutely crazy. what is possible right now. Perfect. All right. So, like I said, anyone joining me, post your questions as we go through this, and I'll jump back and forth between these things in the slides as we kind of roll. All right. So, let's get into this, shall we? I want to take just a really quick minute and talk about the why and the how. And we'll get into all of the tactics and lunatic stuff later. But understanding the why behind what we're doing here is absolutely vital, because then it's one of those things where then everything sort of clicks in place. And I'm going to, as I'm going to show you how to use each one of the platforms, give you the, basically the way to come up with the content schedule, all these fun things, show you where to come up with the ideas. I know, because after a while, you're like, I don't know what to talk about. I have the same problem, by the way. Totally happens all the time. But really, when you see why this is important, all those things kind of fall into place. And this is, we'll just kind of get into this thing here. Because if you sell things for a living, if you sell anything for a living, what content marketing allows you to do is it just makes it easier. It makes everything so much easier, because it's the difference between what I call top down and bottom up marketing. And I'll tell you a little bit of story about that in just a second. But this is the fundamental reality. It's like the fabric of existence for the business world, if you will, is that people tend to buy more from those they know, like, and trust. And I think, just let me know if you put a yes there. I think we're a few seconds delayed in the comments, but just put a yes in there if we can all kind of get behind this one particular piece of information. Because if we can all kind of agree on this, that we'll be able to move forward. And I want to make sure that everybody's kind of doing that. So even if you're on the replay, just throw a yes in the comments if you're cool to follow this. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Cool. All right. This is, and I got to tell you right now, I really like this technology because I can officially now see this coming in. Looks like from Facebook, from YouTube, and Twitter all simultaneously. Very cool. All right. Good, good, good. All right. We're cool. Where's my slides? Here we go. Excellent. Yeah. So, and yeah, excellent. And by the way, there is like about a 20-second. So Brenda, Kit, hello, Kit. Hello, Ian. I see you all. It's lovely. All right, here we go. Back to it, shall we? So this whole no like and trust thing. When you do this stuff correctly, and that is a big when you do it correctly, this has the ability to establish that. So your content is going to precede all of your transactions. Now, there's another reason for this too. So back in the day, so I've been doing this online marketing thing since right around 2004. And what's funny about this is I have built most of my online empire. I love saying that. It just makes it sound so ridiculous. But I've built all of this stuff without being the face of a lot of the businesses. Now, when I got my start, I was. And then I learned how to do things. And I sort of, and then after getting married and having kids and all these other kinds of things sort of snuck into the background. But here's the fundamental truth. You don't necessarily, like, say, for example, you follow that stuff I do on TikTok about the introverted business model and those kinds of things. You don't need to be the face of your business, but you absolutely have to produce content. And I'll give you an example in just a second, because if you don't break through this whole no like and trust barrier, it like I said, it's about 10,000 times harder. You're going to have so many more objections, and it just gets absolutely ridiculous. And so what this allows you to do, and so I have some of those ecosystems, we'll call them, that'll reach up to, what is it, 800,000 people a month. Like, I don't do anything in the health and beauty space too much. So I don't have like, a gazillion followers, but I use content marketing in virtually everything that I do, even if I'm not the guy doing it. And so that's a big, big important thing, because what that does is that's the reason I was able to launch a successful subscription box. That's the reason I've been able to launch, multiple services and all sorts of different things, is because these people are engaged with this stuff, even if it's not you. Okay. I just want you to understand that. So I want to show you the difference. I really want to kind of highlight the difference between using content as kind of an icebreaker versus just going in cold. All right. So here's what you experience if you're, and there's a lot of consultants, I know that, on the various things that we're going through here, or the webinars that I've been doing and all that kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of people who are in some sort of sales position, which we all are. However, these folks are the ones like smiling and dialing a lot of times. Way longer sales cycles, buyer objections. They're like, well, it sounds good, but that kind of thing. Price shopping. They're like, well, these other people over here do this and that kind of stuff. And then the worst one is like you submit your proposal, and if you're in the business, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you get ghosted. So if you're like an agency owner or something like that, and they just ghost you if they see the price or whatever it is, or there's like, a comma missing or some weird thing, because this is the situation that you're in. You're in a cold traffic situation. They are indifferent. They have never heard of you. There's no relationship. People are completely distracted on every conceivable level. Take a sip of the coffee here. And that's what it looks like if you are not using content. Okay. This is a huge deal. Next thing, warm traffic. This is what we want to change it into. This is where they're like, I can help you. So let me go back really quick. Cold traffic. I can help you. And there's like a barrier. It's like, that's why I had to make this exact picture, because that is exactly, they're just going about their lives, doing whatever. And you're like, nah. All right. You want to turn it into this where you have people's attention. You're a trusted authority. They're familiar with you. They know what to expect, and they're excited to engage. You see how that is just let me know if this is making sense, that this is a night and day difference. Let me check over here and see if I'm missing any delightful little questions. Perfect, 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 perfect. Excellent. I love it. All right, let's get back to it then. And I'll check back because I know we have a delay, like I said. All right, so this is the bottom line thing, is that when you use this correctly, it's going to change the entire game. And you could be an author, you can be a speaker, you can be a coach, you can be a consultant, you can have an e-commerce business. I don't really care what the situation is. This is how it's going to work. So how do you come up with the stuff to talk about? Okay, so we're going to look at the tools, the tactics, the mindsets, and I want to make this easy on you. And so there's a couple of fundamentals that I want you to understand. And the first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. And this one is you want to focus on being perfectly imperfect. Okay. I run into this on a near perpetual basis, that folks are like, well, it's not good enough. It's not exactly what I want to say, or, I need more editing, or it's not, it doesn't matter. Hear me on this. It's not about getting the perfect thing out. It's about consistency and frequency of publishing. And I know that's going to bring up something in a lot of people's minds, which I'll address in just a second here. But it's truly, 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 it's not about how incredible it is. And to give you an example, I was speaking with a venture capitalist a couple weeks ago who was kind of waxing lengthy about this podcast that he was starting, and he had gone and invested hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's my guess based on the kind of equipment he was rattling off these technical names. And I was like, dude, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's crazy. Your phone, for example, is perfect. Like, I have published so many blog posts from my phone, pictures, videos, all that kind of stuff. Like, you can own it. You can completely crush it. Like, production quality doesn't matter. All right. And here, this is a piece of kind of the mindset that we have to get into, is that no one thing is your it. Okay. That's not like, oh, this is going to be amazing. It's going to go viral. Sorry for the pun. I know, probably not the most timely thing to say. But it's like your it is a stacking. All right. There's that, you've probably heard that cliche. How do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time kind of thing. Well, yes, but how do you build a mountain? It's something I call pebble stacking, that you just every single day want to put your pebbles out there. All right. And so you want to be able to create this content schedule so that you know what you're going to say when, because this is going to involve some work. I mean, let's call it what it is. This is another thing for you to do, but it's also one of the most important things for you to do. And I'll show you how to do it with a strategy so that it makes sense. But yes, you absolutely need to go out there and just and push forth the good old content. All right. So how much and how often? That's always a big question, right? There you go. Excellent. Thank you, Rory. Oh my word. Everyone, Rory Stern has joined us. Oh Lordy. Oh Lordy. Excellent. Yes. So Yeah, don't say anything. This guy's literally crazy. All right, so how much of this and how often? And the truth is, it's going to depend on the platform. For example, if you're a fan of TikTok and you're a fan of LinkedIn, which by the way are the two primary sources of organic free traffic right now. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But you really want to be doing some version of this daily. I know, ouch, right? I'll show you how to make it kind of like more consumable. Now, this is the next big one here. Is like, oh, you want me to just dump a deluge of information into the market. And this came up. This literally comes up like every single time. I don't want to be contributing to all the noise. I don't want to just be like another, voice in the wilderness. And another piece of this, I did a post recently on imposter syndrome, which is funny because this is an element of it. This is a symptom. This belief is a symptom of imposter syndrome, where it's like, well, there's so many other people out there. I don't want to be just another voice in the wilderness kind of thing. And there's two things about that. The first one I didn't put on my slide, so I'll talk about it really quickly. Um, if you don't want the reality with this is that you need to be doing it because people are going to connect with you. Of course, there's lots of people doing it. Of course, there's tons of stuff out there. The reality is that, hey, whatever, it's fine. People are going to connect with you. It's the analogy I kind of used is, do you have friends? It's like, yes, of course. Out of the thousands of people running amok through this earth, these lunatics chose to hang out with you. Right. It's because your voice, your unique way of delivering information is going to connect with people. And that's how you're going to build your audience. It's literally a personality game. It is. You could be super dry and boring. You could be whatever. You could be all weird like me. It's fine. Just be who you are. And people are going to go, oh, yeah, I'll check out that person. And that's fine. So that's one particular piece of it. The other piece is that we have to make a fundamental mindset shift. Of course, I could talk in the reality of the business world right now. And I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and I know that we have some authors today on this call. And I'll use the author analogy in just a minute. But you want to start thinking about, okay, if you want to open a business, and in this particular one, I said a bakery, would you just not buy an oven because everybody else is buying it? They already have the stupid bakers with their ovens. What kind of crap is that? I'm going to be different, right? Okay, same thing. You want to be a doctor. You're going to skip on medical school, just because of all those other accredited people out there being all silly and doing the same thing. All right. And it's just like that, for example, in the author community, where there's a certain kind of benchmark for entry. If you want to be running a business, you have to do certain things. Like you need a website, you need something to sell, you need people to sell it to, So if you were on the webinar, those are the three core pillars of business. And if you're an author in this world, then you need to be publishing, if you're fiction at least, you need to be publishing at least 4 books a year. That's like the rock bottom bare minimum. And if you're not going to do that, you're not in business. It's like, I want to be an Olympic swimmer. Okay, but I don't want to buy a Speedo. I have a funny story about that, by the way. Remind me later. Okay. So that's kind of what it is. Like, this is just these are the fundamental elements. And like I said, I am not the face of the majority of my sites. It's all about the content. It is all literally about the content. And there's some of my ecosystems are reaching way more people than even like them. So, our reach, our engagement, that kind of stuff is like off the charts compared to most things. So just a couple things to think about is this is something that is fundamental. So now that we've kind of broken through that, hopefully, and let me really quickly check in here. Does everybody understand this? I want to make sure that this is, this is working for people. Let me pop back on so you can see my quick little pretty face. Look at this. I can slide between these. By the way, I want this to be, for everyone who says that they are technologically illiterate, let this be a lesson to you. You don't need to know how to use it. You just need to hit the on button for the most part. Okay. So anybody who's scared of tech, knock it off, please. Okay. I don't know what the heck I'm doing with this machine. I don't. Yet somehow I have several mildly successful businesses. So there you have it. Like I said, let this be a lesson. Don't be afraid of the tech. Just hit go This is sort of piggybacking into that idea that oh, what system is this? It's StreamYard.com. I've tried a bunch of them, and thus far, this is my favorite. I'd like the ability to put this. I'd like to stay on the screen and say, "Hey," but it looks like that's too hard to see. So, all right, I'm going to go back behind the curtain, which is what I do. Don't worry, I'm fully dressed. We're doing it. We're doing it. By the way, thank you for everybody joining me. And if you are, and like I said, on the replay or whatever you're doing, um, make sure that you throw your questions into the chat because they're coming in. This is impressive. I got to say, it's feeding it in from all the platforms. Really like it. Hopefully, you're getting some stream. STREAM yard, just like the milkshake song. You know, my StreamYard bills at the boys. Okay, that was really awful. I'll try not to do that again. I do apologize. All right, here we go. Coming up with ideas. We're going to make this super easy. I'm going to give you 2 resources really quick. Okay. The resources are questiondb.io, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Both of these have free and paid versions. You know, so if you're looking to reduce the amount of loot that you are hurling into the ether, because that makes sense. And by the way, I hope everybody, at least, you know, those in the Americas, applied for your SBA stuff. Take another sip. Not part of what we're talking about today, but definitely hope people did that. And the other one is answerthepublic.com. All right, so let me show you really quick what these things look like. So this is question.db. You're going to get about 40 of these things, and I just literally threw in YouTube subscribers. I know very little about how to, you know, do amazing YouTube stuff. All I do is stream live through these things, so hopefully it works for you. But you can see what people are looking for. You can, and it's very similar to a keyword research tool. You know, can you use search engine optimization for this? Of course, completely fine. And then this one is a little weirder. So this is the answer, whatever that was that I told you about. It's hilarious. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But it creates kind of these webbings of questions, and you can kind of deep dive and journey through them. And it's pretty cool. There's definitely, you know, you could definitely get some good ideas through this. All right, so the next piece, and really quickly, anybody have any, throw some questions in here. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Cool. And wow, interestingly enough, it looks like the majority of humans are following me on the YouTube for this. By the way, make sure you, if you are on YouTube, subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. And it's one of those things where, hey, you tell me the kind of info. I'll go with what I'm thinking at first, and then you can tell me what you need more information about. I've been doing trainings like this for quite a while. So, and also you can come back and watch the replay if you need more info. All right. So this is a big deal. Once again, do not overthink this. It's all about getting out there, getting in front of the people, walking amongst them, if you will. All right, so this is what we want to do. It's a really quick 4-step thing. Think about your market, whoever it is that you're working with. What are the top 10 to 20 major pain points that they have? You should be able to come up with at least 10 without, excuse me, without thinking. If you can't, you need to learn more about your market. All right, now you want to then think about, you know, any kind of monthly theme. So go get on a calendar, look at what's happening throughout the year or however long in advance you want to plan. I kind of recommend, and I hesitate a little bit on this to say plan as far in advance as you can. The only reason I hesitate to say that is because things can come up. I don't know, like maybe you know, like on number 4 here where I had the word piggyback in parentheses. Say, for example, and this is completely hypothetical, okay? But say, for example, there's like a super contagious virus rampaging across the globe causing havoc and catastrophe to a lot of folks. Like I said, totally hypothetical, absolutely not a thing. But let's just pretend. A piggyback is where you start to have your content overlap with some themes, some trending themes. And so once again, I'm totally hypothetical, but like how to use content, you know, during these lockdowns with, and I'll just make up a name for this thing, but like, let's just call it the coronavirus. And let's just say that's what's happening right now. you would want to piggyback what you're putting out over something like that because it's going to get a little bit more juice and you'll get a little bit better reach and those kinds of things with it. So hopefully that's making sense. And then you want to come up with what is your monthly theme going to be? And it can really be whatever is going on in your industry. So if you can find an industry calendar and see what's going on there, like for example, are there events that are happening that particular month, even if you're not going to be at the event, because once again, hypothetically, this virus is causing everyone to shelter in place. Like I said, totally making it up. I wouldn't know. So there we go. There we go. Okay, how to engage and grow your audience, and let me know if you have any questions on that here. Excellent. Oh, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Ian, for excellent, excellent, excellent. Perfect, perfect. Okay, cool. I love it. We have lots of folks saying nice, fun things. And I'm really impressed with the amount on YouTube rather than Facebook. I'm cool with that. All right. How to engage and grow your audience across multiple platforms. So I'll give you a quick breakdown on what each one likes the most and how often you might want to consider doing this. All right. So everything is different. This is one of those fun things. There was Chef Katrina was her name, and she had a Pinterest recipes course. And the thing that I got from her, which I thought it was a great way to say it, was don't Facebook on Pinterest, meaning every platform's a little bit different. And so, for example, like, and I struggle with this, I totally do, is to, I like to Facebook on YouTube. And that's just not how things work. So you want to YouTube on YouTube and Facebook on Facebook. But here's a quick list. Facebook, this is what's really good. For example, and then there's another technique that's called changing channels. And I use this a lot, and it has worked beautifully. To give you an example of this, I pulled a 60-second TikTok video out of TikTok and posted it, and it has now been seen well over 14 million times. It is the perfect definition of, once again, terrible analogy, but it went viral. And luckily people are enjoying it. What this has now done is it's boosted my follower count. I went from maybe, because like I said, I don't really show my face a huge number of times, but what's happened is by changing the channel, I was able to grow my follower count from, I want to say about 200 some odd to I'm almost at 2,500 at this point. It's crazy. And so everything else that I have posted, fun, because I keep it pretty light on the Facebooks. I don't get into a bunch of political discord or talking about any kind of crazy, just because I just don't really like who are you going to convince with that kind of thing. So I don't even bother. Instead, what I do is I try to give some uplifting, fun. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, like just fun stuff. And then every now and then I'll slide in something for business. But now what's happened is I've actually had people from those things that have blown up because of that one video. And that might sound like I'm saying, oh, it's this one thing that did it, but everything else is doing it too. So you might have one that pops off, but you can't predict it. This is why you want to do this consistently. So if you have any, let me see here. If you have any questions really quick on this fun thing. So good, I'm glad everybody can see this. So yeah, Facebook, we've got here, I'll come over and say, hey, look at that, I'm still here, yeah. All right, so we've got the good old people at Facebook. Best things that I found is going to be somewhere between like 30 seconds to 3 minutes. I know for ads, they're always like, it should be 3 minutes. I'm not entirely sure that's correct. I don't know how many of you folks have had the the Facebook, what is it? Ad expert say, hey, would you like to schedule an appointment? They say all sorts of funny things. I think it's hilarious. Instagram photos and videos, obviously you could daily works, Facebook with daily, TikTok 15 to 60-second videos, definitely daily. And if you see my TikTok page, you can tell how much effort I put into those things. Because what's funny is the ones that I have given, for the most part, the least amount of push to are the ones that sometimes do the best. And I am not a TikTok guru, but I do understand that it is vital to be on that platform right now, because between it and LinkedIn, those are going to be, that's your organic traffic. Okay. That's your free reach. And with LinkedIn, you want to have articles and posts, and that's about 4 to 5 times a week. Here's the fun thing with LinkedIn. There's a factor that we can talk about if you'd like, called decay, and that is simply you're going to post something, it's going to get shown, and then it falls off. Like Facebook and Instagram, the decay is like 3 seconds. It's just ridiculous. But with LinkedIn, and in fact, TikTok is the same thing. With LinkedIn, the decay it lasts a long time, but it favors these articles. So you want to be publishing like that kind of stuff. Don't publish links or anything. You definitely want to stick to the articles. Pinterest, you can be doing daily photos, and also because of the decay, the slow decay on LinkedIn, 4 to 5 times a week, I think is kind of the max or the sweet spot. And then Twitter. Twitter's Twitter. The best way, honestly, to use Twitter is to use it to engage with influencers. Somewhat the same as Instagram, because Instagram has, their organic reach has really been pulled back. And this is something to keep in mind, is that when a platform is free, like Facebook used to be back in 2013, you can count on the fact that it will become a pay to play environment. And so this is one of those situations where you've probably heard this before: make hay while the sun shines. Meaning, if you're not on TikTok, I don't care if you don't know how to dance. I wrote a blog post on this. You absolutely do not need to learn how to dance, but you do need to be on TikTok. It's a big deal. And same thing with, all these platforms. MySpace, obviously, it was a joke. So cool. Let me take a quick look here. I'm going to go back to the big old, let me see. Is it better to, oh, here's a good question. Let's see here. Like Medium, Vocal, or YouTube? All right. So Medium is a place where you can get paid a bit. So if you do a lot of writing, you can get paid on those kinds of things. And then how and why would fiction authors use LinkedIn? Networking is going to probably be your biggest one right there. So really quick, Ian, getting back to like Medium, Vocal, or YouTube, if you're going to do video, absolutely. And I know that we have a lot of authors in here who tend to kind of hide, or not hide, but like stay not on a video thing or behind the camera. So that's fine. What you're doing in all these other platforms is something called demonstrating what must be true in order for people to want to do business with you. All right. And this is a universal thing. Just like people buy from those they know, like, and trust. Okay. Here's the big question. If you can answer this in your business, you're pretty much golden. Is it, what must I demonstrate to be true in order for people to want to do business with me? Or if you want to keep it even more simple, what must I demonstrate to be true in order for people to buy my stuff? Kind of thing. Okay. If you can answer that question, just phrased a little differently, you're going to then have pretty much the roadmap for where you want to get successfully. So if you're trying to, here's the thing with all of these platforms that sort of pay you to publish content. If you don't have a platform, you're not going to be making a stunning amount of money. And I'm going to cover this in just a second. So I think I'm going to hide you for just a moment here, and then let's get back to the stuff. All right. So there's the different platforms. All right. So here we go. And I think this is going to answer everybody's question about these different, where do you go to do the things and stuff like that. Okay. So we're going to tie it all together. Never, ever, 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 I'm not sure if I said this enough, ever, 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 just publish content for the sake of content. All right. You want to be able to publish content that is going to build an audience. And this is so fundamental, in fact, because I can edit these things from where I am. Audience you can reach. Boom. All right. This is why it's important. Let's pretend for a second that you have published an article on, I don't know, once again, let's just make something up, but let's say you do a 7-part series on virtual events and why specifically right now that is a great way to grow your platform. You're going to publish it. You're going to put it out there. You'll probably publish the article directly to LinkedIn with maybe some links in it to get it to, the rest of the pieces. So it's in LinkedIn. That's great. What happens when people read it? They're like, oh, that's nice. And then they kind of drift off. So I want you to think about the attention span and I'll come back on so I can look you all in the eyes. But let's think about the attention span of the average human, especially in the world we live in with, this sort of like bite-sized, what do they call it, content nibbles or snackable content kind of thing. Like, all right, we've trained ourselves now to have the attention span of a lobotomized fruit fly. And so if you can't create something, and by the way, for those of you who are looking for how do you really use this with written content, I cannot recommend enough that you check out scaleyourhustle.com. And the reason why is I've done a ton of step-by-step articles on exactly what that's about. So just so you know. But here's the problem with content. People go, they'll consume it, and then they'll walk away and they'll never see you again. All right. That is the big problem. And so what has to happen then is you kind of need to show up again randomly in front of them. This is why publishing content for the sake of content doesn't work. This is why some of the most prolific bloggers in the world aren't making all that much loot, because they're not staying on top of everyone. All right, so I'm going to go behind the screen again and that kind of thing. So here we go. You want to be using, and if you don't understand how to do this, you can check out your YouTube. I mean, 2/3 of you, it seems like, are already there. But you could check on YouTube for how to use your site pixel. So there's a tracking pixel that you can put on your website. What this does is this now is building what we like to call this invisible audience of people that are consuming your content. All right. And so if you are publishing, say, onto LinkedIn, you can then link to your YouTube video, or you can link to the video in Facebook, or you can link to the rest of the article on, or part 2 or whatever it is on your site. And what that's going to do is someone's going to consume that first part. It's going to bring them to a place where now you can follow up with them. All right. Then what you want to do is this thing called retargeting. And if you were on the webinar that I've been doing every week, you know all about this, where what you're able to do is literally for anywhere from $1 to $5 a day, you can follow people around. And this is the most important thing that you're going to do. Without this particular element, and a lot of people are like, "But I don't understand how." It doesn't matter. Like, that is no longer an excuse. If you don't know how to do this, you can here's the reality of this. It's going to sound harsh, but if you're struggling in anything and you're like, "But I don't know how to," it's your fault, because you haven't gone and to YouTube yet and said, "How do I?" Knowledge is not the gap. Like, we've proven that. It's lack of motivation. And so if you are trying to grow your audience right now, this is a huge thing. You need to learn how to use the pixel and how to retarget. And all of this is provided completely free on YouTube. All right. Big, 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 big deal. All right. So then what you do is you're retargeting these people with a little bit more content. And that is when you start to grow your email list. Okay. I really quickly just put here in the comments, wherever you are right now, on whichever platform on which you're watching, do you understand why you need to be growing an email list and why this is so important? So let's go over really quick. Let me bring it up here so you all see me. Let's really quickly go over this. So you publish this content that's going to be entering, as they say, the prospect, the conversation in the prospect's mind. Multiple pieces of it. Great, great, great. It's bringing them back into your little ecosystem. And then you're following them around with more cool stuff. And from there, you are then, hey, I have some, a fun thing that I'm doing over here. I'm doing a webinar. I'm doing whatever this is. Why don't you join my email list? And I'll give you some exclusive free stuff. So are you understanding why you want to be doing that? So throw that in there. Let me quick jump back in here, and I will get through all of this, and then your questions. So this is the end game. This is how all of these things layer and tie together. So if you remember what I walked you through just a little bit ago, you want to be publishing on all these different platforms and then bringing them back to some place where they are going to, where you can then follow up with them. So your website, YouTube, Facebook. The rest of them, I don't recommend like using them as a secondary kind of thing. You want to publish in there to bring the eyeballs out. All right. So here it is. This is your end game. So by growing your email list, so first you're engaging everybody. They like you, they know you, they trust you. They're consuming your stuff. Now by growing this email list, you then use your subscribers to enhance every piece of content that you publish. Because what happens now, so that means you're going to email your list when you publish a piece of content that you think is going to be impactful. You're almost forcing the algorithm on every single one of these platforms to show your stuff to more people because you can literally make it popular. You're enhancing the power of your content. And so this is like a game that you can play with yourself as you grow this up, because email is really the email and SMS, I would say, are the two things you have control over right now. That's really it. It's kind of a big deal. Like, so, I mean, let's look at what I did today. I said, hey, I'm going to be going live. I'm going to be teaching this stuff at 1:30 Central. And why don't you come and join me? You can ask me questions, all this stuff. And guess what? People showed up. Oh, if you just go live, which I have done a bunch of times, guess who shows up? Like 3 or 4 people that kind of like wander through. If you do this, it doesn't matter what kind of stuff you're talking about. You're going to end up looking like, the orangutan pen at the zoo where people, they moved them all out. What is it? The tigers. Everyone gets mad when the tigers aren't there. It's like, oh, they're having a bath. Oh, okay. And then people just drift by. This is how you manufacture it. Okay. So here's how to position your brand for the future. And I'll get into that in just a second. Excellent. So it looks like none of y'all have any questions. All right. So we good? Excellent, excellent, excellent. Cool, cool, cool. Perfect. All right. Back to the hotel, as they say. So large engaged audiences versus crickets. Right now is the best time to be doing this. Okay. By publishing this consistent content, you're going to grow your reachable audience. That is a huge deal. You're going to grow your email subscriber list. You're going to grow your influence, your popularity on all these different platforms. And you're going to be able to create this upward cycle of growth and influence and obviously profit. And this is the best time to be doing this right now. Because with, for example, retargeting, I'm getting video views for less than a penny to someone watch like an entire thing. It's pretty crazy. And it hasn't been that good since like 2013. And the reason why, and I'm not to say that the virus is a huge thing, but there have been some positives that have come out of that, because 90% of markets, I mean, there's almost no competition out there because everybody pulled back. So if you can pony up $1 a day, you can work these kinds of things. And I mean, you can continue to publish content. That's fine. And it'll be very helpful. But if you can enhance it just a little bit, even like $1 a day, you are going to, when all this lunacy is done and over, and I mean, the world will forever be changed. I think there's we're now being ruled by the robot overlords or something, but whatever that is, when all this stuff is kind of, gone back to whatever version of normal it's going to be, and people are out, doing things again, like shopping less than 6 feet apart, you are going to come out of this with a group of people who are very engaged and very interested. And more than likely, when you go to sell something to them, or, submit a proposal, or however you do what you do, it's going to be a huge thing. So I'll take your questions. The next live training is going to be in just a couple of days. I haven't, like I said, I haven't quite set the schedule for this, but we're going to be, the theme for this is going to be 2 powerful sources of free traffic. And just so you know, it's not LinkedIn and it's not TikTok. Don't miss this. Make sure you like and follow on YouTube. Make sure you get that little bell thingy. I think that's how it works. Like I said, I'm not a pro on YouTube. Facebook, same thing with the page. Make sure you do that. And then I will be blowing up everybody in the email who's a subscriber. So really quick, let me see what we've got here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So if you have any questions, throw them in. Remember, there's a bit of a delay. There's a little bit of a delay, probably 15, 20 seconds. But if anybody has any questions, I can totally hammer anything out. I've got a few more minutes here before I'm suddenly consumed by the fire of my children. Because as we say, we're all sheltering in place. Remember, we're all in this together. let's see, Ian, you have control over your email list. Absolutely. That is the point of it. Um, the company that I recommend, which I never thought I would, in fact, I was very against them a couple of years ago, but something interesting has happened is that MailChimp is great for deliverabilities. What I've found, I'm using them right now. I used to have ActiveCampaign, got rid of them. Their deliverability was terrible. I love them, even though they do have the integrated SMS. I was kind of like, meh, whatever. I'd rather have a tomato kind of thing. All right, let me take a quick look here. Perfect. Here we go. There we go. Oh, it's great. I'm not sure if you can see this, but I got to tell you, Facebook picks the world's greatest stills for these. Do you see the picture? They like, I look like a psychopath drinking human blood. That's not okay. Not that I'm not. I mean, come on. Let's all be honest here. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Cool. So that is why you want to use content. So let's do a quick little recap here for those, because I mean, people come and go throughout this entire thing. The reason we use content and the reason we use it as a really a pillar of our marketing is because it's going to make that sale about 10,000 times easier. It absolutely will transform the way that your business runs. And so if you are not doing that, I have really not met a person who was like, oh, I don't want to do this at all. I typically run into people when we're having these like consulting conversations and stuff like that, or insulting conversations. I mean, we can go both ways. For the most part, what happens is they're like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to do that, and then they have this list of reasons why they haven't done it. Okay, get it done. Like, come up with something, even if you're publishing one piece like every other week, at least do something. If you're not doing it, for example, I publish probably a couple of things a week. And this is, you don't focus on perfection, focus on progress. That's usually a big one, especially with, my author people out there. It gets pretty crazy sometimes with with life in general and whatnot. Obviously, we're doing homeschooling with children at this point, so you're not going to be perfect, but take advantage of what, the few upsides that we're having with this particular pandemic, and get out there, go be, walk amongst the people. It can change your business completely. So yeah, excellent. So I guess that's all we have for today. I will let you know when the next one's going to come out. So if you subscribe to the old YouTube's channel, you'll probably get a notification. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. If you're on Facebook, then make sure that you do the follow and all that kind of stuff. And if you're on Twitter, God help you, I have no idea. I have no idea. I just know this thing streams to it. I admit it. And like I said earlier, please, please, please let this be sort of a raving testimonial for you, in the way that you don't need to really understand everything. You need to know how to hit publish or hit send, or just do. Don't worry about the perfection. It's going to be the volume of the stuff that's happening. All right. So there you have it. I am that Johnny Andrews. Hello. This has been another delightful presentation from Scale Your Hustle. Go check out scaleyourhustle.com. There's a ton of stuff that I have put there for you. A lot of how-to. In fact, I am going to put the website here. Boom. There you go. That should proliferate everywhere. Yes, scaleyourhustle.com. That is the place that you want to go check out that stuff off. Will there be a rebroadcast of this or a video? Never. I'm going to pull it all down. No, even the one where I leave pretty much everything up, because I'm a big proponent of practice what you preach. I had my 5-year-old invade my office the other day about something to do with Barbies. I left that up too, if you're interested. Yeah, I did. I'm that guy. So yeah, this will stay up after I kill it. It'll be a minute. You'll probably want to refresh it, and then you can come in and you'll have the little slider. Cool. All right, there we have it. Thank you everybody for joining me. I'll be, and like I said, if you're in the email list, then you can absolutely. I would very much like to be able to work with you one on one. We'll do one of these where, um, well, I don't know about that, but I try. I keep them fed. Let's put it that way. Excellent. Well, thank you, Brenda. Yeah, you can. You'll be able to grab the link to this when it's all done and post it if you want to. And if folks are, if folks need anything, I'm never short on opinions. But if you've ever done my webinars, I kind of go a little overboard on the teaching. I can't help myself. But yeah, there you have it. So thank you so much. Once again, like, subscribe, follow, all of those shenanigans. And I will be live again. I'm going to try to get it in possibly tomorrow. I might even do another one of these tonight. I don't know. Like I said, there's a bunch of crazy all over the place because we're all, sheltering in place because this weird thing that's happening right now. So do content, come up with a schedule, do a little bit every day. Cool? Awesome. All right, y'all. Take care. Toodles.